Hello, beautiful people. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are on this beautiful world. Thank you for joining in. This is Osama Nijal, and this is Hacking Illustrator course. Welcome to what I think is going to be the best course about Adobe Illustrator for free, of course. I really appreciate your coming. Your attention means the world to me. This episode is all about the menu, the list menus, these bad boys in here. Today we're going to talk about some list items. What do they do? What can you do using them? And we're going to execute some of them using this art over here, the Otakurum's logo that I designed a few years back. Anyway, so the first one is file, and this one is related to your file. And what I mean by file is the operating system file. I mean the name, the extension, the place, whatever. Many stuff that we can do here. For example, opening a new document, opening another one, saving it, save as a copy. We're going to execute some of them in a later episode. Placing or exporting, also modifying some setup the setup of the document from the start that we choose when we create a new file that we're going to deal with in a few seconds. To the color mode, whether it's CMYK, which means for print, or for RGB, which means for screen. File info, all the information about the file. Printing, and exiting is exiting the whole software. Edit is related to what's happening inside Adobe Illustrator. Cutting, copying, pasting, undoing, redoing, some spelling checks here. There are plenty of other stuff here that I don't use that often. We can modify the color settings. There's also an interesting item here called keyboard shortcuts. If you're not very satisfied with the shortcuts of Adobe Illustrator by default, you can change them anytime. There are also the settings that you can export or import, and of course the preferences of using the software, and we're going to be talking about these in a later episode. Object is where most of these help you do some magic on your shapes in the artboard, like we talked earlier. We have path, shape, pattern, blend, whatever. All these are tools that we can use. I highly recommend that you try using them. We're going to be more in detail about them in the next episodes. Type is everything related to your text. Select, from its name, selecting, but I don't see that we're going to use that menu that often. Effect is applying extra effects on your art. For the view is everything related to what you see here on the interface, and basically if it's an outline mode, previewing using CPU or GPU, print, zoom in, hiding artboards and hiding stuff, showing rulers, bounding box, grids, many and plenty of stuff that I will go into more details. Like every time, I think that this is a new opportunity for me to talk about some stuff from this menu I'm going to talk about. But I'm being honest here, I'm not going to go through every single one, of course. But I'll do my best to cover the maximum possible. Window is like I did in the previous episode, I guess, or the first episode. No, the second one. The second one, adding panels, deleting panels, like everything that you see here is controlled from this one. Help is where you get help or tutorials from the Adobe Creative Cloud. Also, if you can submit a bug or feature, if you want to add a feature or something. Here is for Bridge, and here is for Adobe Stock. Also, here is arranging documents. If you can use them all vertically. If you have different menus in here, we can see different tiles that are going to change. Here is the GPU performance enabled, whether you have a GPU in your PC or not. So this was it. For example, let's create a new document. Let's do File, New, or Control plus N. We have different presets in here. We can modify the presets from here, how long, the width and the height of the document, whether the unit, whether it's points, picas, inches, millimeters, or pixels or centimeters, the orientation, the number of artboards. We can increase it to 3, for example. The bleed is, if you're using print, this is the space that we use to so that we can not lose our art when it's being trimmed. There are advanced options. So the color mode is where we choose whether it's RGB or CMYK, the raster graphics, the resolution that we're going to use, whether it's 300, 150, 72 for screen is 72, for print 300, and the preview mode, whether it's pixel or overprint. I usually use default. There are more settings that you can create, but we're cool with it, so we use create. And like you're seeing now, we have 3 artboards. And this is what I was talking about in the first episode. Here are different artboards that we can move and control in different ways. We can save this one as Control S, then we name this thing here. Let's use Nigel, for example. Then we save. Okay. I can also save as to choose a different thing. For example, PDF, for example, and I use save. And there are other things that other parameters that you will deal with when you saving for PDF. If, for example, I want to save this progress, here I use save a copy, and ER, for example. So here we go. Then what happens is that ER is on my directory while I keep using this one and making progress. If, for example, you're doing an illustration and you don't want to ruin this, but you wanna like experiment on it, you do save as a copy. You save another version of your progress at this moment, then you start exploring your ideas. And if you like ruin things up in here, things are not gonna be ruined for good. You have other previous version on your directory. So let's start using the edit menu. We select this one, we use Control C or edit, copy, then we go in here and do Control V or edit, paste in front or paste. There are plenty of usages for this one. Anyway, so there is a quick method to quickly copy and paste stuff, which is clicking on it, moving it, then clicking on Alt, then removing your finger from the mouse and releasing it, and that way you have a quick copy and paste immediately. So this was the file and edit menus. I talked about many items, how to use them. We're going to each time explore some features on these items here that are going to help you speed up your process and know more about Adobe Illustrator. Again, this was Usama Nijal. Thank you for joining the course. It means the world to me. If you share it with your friends, colleagues, family, whatever, let people in our space have a democratized learning and quality of learning. So thank you guys. This means goodbye. See you in the next episode.